Sacred threads, a journey through the world's religions. Before temples rose or scriptures sang, before names like Yahweh, Buddha, or Allah echoed through history, humanity looked up at the stars and asked, "Why are we here?" Sacred Threads is a sweeping 15-part audio odyssey into the heart of our deepest yearnings, for meaning, for order, for the divine. From the silent meditations of Jain monks to the cosmic battles of Zoroastrian myth, from the fire of Sinai to the path beneath the Bodhi tree, this series traces the origins, stories, and living truths of the world's great religions, and the new ones still being born. You'll walk with prophets, philosophers, and skeptics. You'll witness the rise of sacred texts and hear the whispered doubts of those who walked away. And through it all, you'll discover not just what others believe, but what belief itself reveals about us. Whether you're faithful, skeptical, or just curious, this is more than a history of religions. It's a mirror, and the question it reflects is eternal. What do you worship when the world falls silent?
The dawn of religion.
Episode 4, Submission and Revelation, Islam. Welcome to Episode 4 of The World's Religions. In this chapter, we trace the birth of Islam, a faith whose name means surrender, whose scripture resounds in melodic Arabic, and whose call to prayer now circles the globe 5 times a day. Tonight we cover Muhammad and the Quranic revelation, the 5 pillars and the architecture of submission, succession, schism, and the early caliphates. Part 1 ends with the Umayyad zenith. Part 2 will carry us through Shia-Sunni divergence, Sufi mysticism, modern reform, and Islam's 21st century mosaic. Prepare to ride caravan tracks, hear poets duel in verse, and witness empires rise on the wings of a single word, Allah. 1. Muhammad and the Quranic revelation. 1.1 Arabia before Islam. 6th century Arabia is a tapestry of tribes. Bedouin nomads herd camels across the Najd. Sedentary oasis towns, Yathrib, Medina, Khaybar, Taif, cultivate dates and grapes. Mecca, ruled by the Quraysh clan, hosts the Kaaba, a cuboid shrine housing 360 idols, anchoring pilgrimage and commerce. Religiously, the peninsula is pluralistic. Hanifs, monotheist seekers, Jews in Yathrib, Christians in Najran, and Arabian polytheists who venerate Al-Lat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. Poetry is the public art form. Tribal bards recite odes at the annual Ukaz market, their verses etched in memory like law. 1.2 The early life of Muhammad. c. 570. CE, born Muhammad ibn Abdullah, year of the elephant, Abraha's failed Meccan assault. Orphaned early, raised by grandfather Abd al-Muttalib, then uncle Abu Talib. Works as caravan agent for widowed businesswoman Khadijah. Marries her at 25, nicknamed Al-Amin, the trustworthy, for arbitration skills. Yet internal ache persists. Why does wealth pool while orphans starve? Why quarrel over idols that neither speak nor see? 1.3 The Night of Power, Laylat al-Qadr. During Ramadan, c. 610 CE, Muhammad retreats to Mount Hira. At dawn, the angel Gabriel, seizes him. Iqra, recite. I cannot read. Recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging clot. Q 96:1-2. Trembling, he rushes to Khadija. She wraps him in a cloak, reassures him, and consults her cousin Waraka ibn Nawfal, a Christian monk who recognizes prophetic signs. Revelations continue. Brief, thunderous surahs condemn social injustice. proclaim divine unity, tawhid, and promise day of reckoning. Early converts, Khadija, young cousin Ola, freed slave Zard, merchant friend Abu Bakr. Bir nokta 4 Meccan opposition. Quraysh elites fear economic threat to pilgrimage idols. They mock the raving poet, boycott Hashim clan, torture slaves, Bilal, Ammar. Muhammad's mirage vision, night journey to Jerusalem and ascent through 7 heavens, emboldens followers but invites ridicule. Abyssinian asylum. Muslims flee to Christian King Negus, 615 CE, who safeguards them. Muhammad counters persecution with surahs of cosmic scope, Yasin ar-Rahman. 1.5. The Hijra, 622 CE. After Khadija and Abu Talib die, year of sorrow, Yathrib tribes invite Muhammad to arbitrate feuds. He and Abu Bakr secretly migrate, Hijra, escaping assassins. Lunar calendar resets, 1 Anno Hijra. 1.6. Medina, prophet and statesman. Drafts, Constitution of Medina, a pluralistic charter binding Muslims, Muhajirun plus Ansar, Jews, and pagan allies in mutual defense. Qibla initially faces Jerusalem, later redirected to Kaaba, reclaiming Abrahamic heritage. Battles, Badr, 624. Victory shocks Mecca. Uhud, 625. Setback tests faith. Khandak, 627. Trench defense repels siege. Treaty of Hudaybiyah, 628, grants 10-year truce and pilgrimage rights. 1.7. Conquest of Mecca, 630 CE. Quraysh, breach treaty. Muhammad marches with 10,000 faithful. Bloodless entry. Idols toppled. Kaaba cleansed. General amnesty proclaimed. Political genius forging hearts instead of ruining foes. 1.8. Farewell pilgrimage and passing. In 632 CE, Muhammad delivers Khutbat al-Wada. O people, no Arab is superior to a non-Arab except by piety. He affirms rights of women, abolishes blood revenge interest. 3 months later, fever claims him in Aisha's chamber. He leaves neither wealth nor male heir, only a community bound by revelation. 2. The 5 pillars and the architecture of submission. Islam distills praxis into 5 load-bearing acts, each weaving body, mind, and society into divine orbit. 2.1 Shahada, the testimony. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. There is no God but God. Muhammad is the messenger of God. Uttered with conviction, it births a Muslim. Its dual clause negates idolatry, shirk, and anchors prophecy's seal, Khatam and Nabeen. 2.2 Salat, ritual prayer. 5 daily stations: dawn, Fajr, noon, Zuhr, afternoon, Asr, sunset, Maghrib, night, Isha. Ablution, wudu, purifies limbs. Lines form shoulder to shoulder, erasing hierarchy. Adhan call unfurls from minarets. Allahu Akbar echoes through souks and skyscrapers. Salat disciplines time, bending day to divine cadence, cosmic metronome of submission. 2.3 Zakat, almsgiving. A mandatory 2.5% levy on surplus wealth funds, orphans, widows, debtors, stranded travelers. Zakat institutionalizes social justice. Gold stagnating in coffers is threatened with brands of fire. Q 935. 2.4 Psalm, fasting in Ramadan. From dawn to sunset, no food, drink, or sexual intimacy. Hunger sharpens empathy. Nightly Taraweeh prayers recite the entire Quran across 30 nights. Laylat al-Qadr vigil seeks destiny's decree better than 1,000 months. 2.5 Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca. Once in life, if able, Pilgrims don ihram, 2 white sheets, obliterating status. They tawaf, circumambulate Kaaba 7 times. Sa'i, jog between Safa and Marwa hills, recalling Hagar's water search. Arafat, stand on plain where Adam and Eve reunited, mercy overflows. Stoning Jamarat, hurl pebbles at pillars symbolizing Satan's temptation. Id al-Adha, sacrifice shares meat with poor. Hajj compresses sacred history into theatre. Pilgrims depart reborn, their sins whiter than milk. Third succession, schism, and the early caliphates. 3.1. The question of leadership. Muhammad left no written will. In Saqafa Hall, Ansar debate succession. Abu Bakr, citing Quraysh lineage and early faith, is chosen as caliph, rightly guided leader. Some, chiefly Fatima, Muhammad's daughter, and her husband Allah, voice disappointment but pledge eventual allegiance. 3.2 Abu Bakr, 632 to 634 CE. Quells Ridda Wars, tribal apostasy and tax refusal. Dispatches armies north, opening Syrian and Iraqi frontiers. Commissions compilation of Quranic scrolls, Mushaf, after battle deaths of reciters. 3.3 Umar ibn al-Khattab, 634 to 644. Austere visionary, rides camel minus saddle pomp. Conquers Byzantine Syria, Egypt under Amr ibn al-Az. Sassanid Persia collapses at Qadisiyah and Nahavand. Institutes dhimmi protection for Christians, just Jews. Jizya tax substitutes military service. Establishes Dar al-Islam versus Dar al-Harb polity. Builds garrison cities, Fustat, Kufa, Basra. Assassinated by Persian slave Abu Lulu. 3.4 Uthman ibn Affan, 644 to 656. Umayyad notable, standardizes Quran codex, sending copies to provinces. Nepotism accusations, appointing kin as governors, ignite dissent. Siege of Medina ends with his murder while reading Quran, first intra-Muslim bloodshed. 3.5 Ali ibn Abi Talib, 656 to 661. Cousin, son-in-law, revered for piety. Battle of the Camel, faces, Aisha, Talha, Zubair, avenging Uthman. Siffin, 657. Stalemate with Muawiyah, governor of Syria. Arbitration undermines Al's legitimacy. Kharijitis secede, brand both parties sinners. Assassinated in Kufa Mosque by Kharijite with poison-laced sword. 3.6 The Sunni-Shia divergence. Followers of Al, Shi'atu Ali, uphold imamate hereditary through Fatimid lineage, Hassan, Hussein. Sunnis deem caliphate elective among Quraysh. Tension climaxes in 680 CE. Karbala tragedy. Caliph Yazid I, Umayyad, demands allegiance from Ala''s son Hussein. Hussein marches with family. At Karbala, his entourage of 72 faces, Umayyad army of thousands. On 10th Muharram, Ashura, Hussein is slain, severed head paraded. Shia theology frames him as martyr of justice. Annual Ashura Passion plays evoke tears and vows. 3.7 Umayyad Caliphate, 661 to 750. Capital Damascus. Arabic becomes administrative lingua. Coinage minted without Byzantine figures, adorned with shahada, first iconoclastic art. Conquests span. Maghreb up to Atlantic, Berbers Islamize. Al-Andalus, 711. Tariq ibn Ziyad crosses Gibraltar, Jabal Tariq. Transoxiana, wave reaches Indus. Yet Arab preference breeds Mawal, non-Arab convert. Grievance, Abbasid, revolution brews. Part 1 closes here as the Umayyad palaces gleam under Syrian moonlight while whispers of change travel silk roads. Interlude, an invitation to Part 2. You have witnessed revelation descend in a cave, pillars rise like minarets of meaning, and a nascent community expand from Meccan valleys to Iberian shores. But our odyssey through Islam has only begun. In Part 2, we will explore the Abbasid Golden Age, Baghdad's House of Wisdom and Persian-Turkic synthesis. Dive into Sufism, whirling through Rumi's poems and Ibn Arabi's metaphysics. Trace empires, Ottoman, Safavid, Mughal, and the sharpening Sunni-Shia axis. Confront colonialism, reformers like Al-Afghan and Muhammad Abdu, and the rise of modern Islamist and secular streams. Conclude with Islam's 21st century mosaic. Digital fatwas, women scholars, climate activism, and the quest to harmonize revelation with global modernity. Dawn breaks over the Syrian desert. The Umayyad Caliphate, once dazzling in Damascene marble, teeters under the weight of rebellion. From Khorasan ride black-bannered armies chanting a single word, Abbas, and the Islamic world is about to tilt eastward toward Persian courts, Greek manuscripts, and the glittering domes of Baghdad. Our caravan resumes in 750 CE, following Islam's metamorphosis from Arab empire to cosmopolitan civilization, from law-forging jurists to soul-searching mystics, from gunpowder dynasties to digital muftis. Saddle up. The road ahead spans a millennium and more. Fourth, the Abbasid ascendancy and the Golden Age, 750 to 1258 CE. 4.1 Revolution and Reorientation. The Abbasid movement, claiming descent from the Prophet's uncle Al-Abbas, topples Umayyad rule at the Battle of the Zab, 750. Surviving Umayyad Prince Abd al-Rahman flees to Iberia, yet the heartland pivots east. Capital moves to newly founded Baghdad, 762, city of peace, astride the Tigris. Mawal, Persian, and other non-Arab Muslims gain court access, blending Arab, Persian, and Hellenic cultures. 4.2 House of Wisdom, Bait al-Hikmah. Caliph al-Ma'mun, R. 813-833, establishes a translation bureau. Hunayn ibn Ishaq renders Garland and Hippocrates into Arabic. Al-Khwarizm Okho invents algebra, Al-Jaba, introduces zero from India, and popularizes Hindu-Arabic numerals. Ibn Sunnah, Avicenna, writes Canon of Medicine, Europe's authority for 500 years. Astronomers refine astrolabe. Geographers like Al-Idris chart the world. Knowledge is sanctified. A hadith exalts ink of scholars over blood of martyrs. 4.3 Schools of Law, Madahib. Amid flowering intellect, jurists crystallize fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, school-founder region of influence hallmarks. Hanafi, Abu Hanifa, 702 to 767, Iraq, Ottoman lands, South Asia. Emphasis on analogical reasoning, qiyas, and public interest, istihsan. Malik ibn Anas, 711 to 795. North and West Africa. Reliance on Medinan practice as living sunnah. Shafi'ah, Muhammad al-Shafi, 767 to 820. Egypt, East Africa, Southeast Asia. Codifies usul al-fiqh, legal methodology. Balances hadith with qiyas. Hanbal, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, 780 to 855. Arabia, scriptural literalism, piety over rational speculation. Sunni consensus, ijma, emerges. Shia develop Ja'far fiqh under Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. 4.4 Mihna, Inquisition of the Mind. Al-Ma'mun, enamored with Mu'tazila rationalism, imposes doctrine that Quran is created, not eternal. Scholar Ahmad ibn Hanbal endures flogging but refuses. Populace sides with him. By 848, the Mihna ends, signaling limits on caliphal power over creed and tipping authority toward ulama, scholars. 4.5 Fragmentation and flourish. By the 10th century, Abbasid caliphs rule in name, de facto power splinters, Tulunids and Ikhshidids in Egypt, Samanids in Transoxiana, sponsor Persian poetry. Firdows composes Shahnameh, epic of Zoroastrian kings, yet written under Islamic aegis. Baids, Shia, sees Baghdad, 945, humbling caliph to a figurehead. Still, commerce surges on Dar al-Islam's tax-light caravan routes, silk, spices, paper mills. Mosques echo in Cordoba, where Umayyad splendor rivals Baghdad. In Samarkand, blue-tiled minarets pierce the sky. 5. The mystic heart, Sufism. 5.1 Origins and aims. Sufis, perhaps from Suf, wool, signifying ascetic garb, seek marifa, gnosis, beyond legalistic compliance. Early luminaries, Hassan al-Basr, d. 728, laments worldly caliphs. Rabi'a al-Adawiyya, Basra mystic, prays, I love you for yourself alone, not for heaven or fear of hell. Du Annun al-Misri articulates fana, self-annihilation in God. 5.2 Turuk, brotherhoods. By the 12th century, Sufism organizes into orders centered on saintly sheikhs, order founder hallmarks reach. Qadiriyya, Abd al-Qadir al-Jilani died, 1166. Charity, sobriety, Iraq, West Africa. Mevleviyya, Jalal al-Dan Ruma, 1207 to 1273. Sama whirling dance, reed flute poetry. Anatolia, Balkans, Naqshbandiyya, Baha al-Din Naqshband, 1318 to 1389. Silent dhikr, soberness, Central and South Asia. Shadhiliya, Abul Hassan al-Shadhil died, 1258. Tawakkul, trust, litany recitations. North Africa, Egypt, dhikr, remembrance, rhythms, heartbeats, La ilaha illa Allah, echoing until self dissolves. 5.3 Rumor and the Ocean of Love. Persian jurist turned poet, Rumor loses mentor Shams-i Tabriz, then pours grief into 26,000-verse Masnav. Come, come, whoever you are, ours is not a caravan of despair. His verses lure Muslim, Christian, agnostic alike, proof that Sufi metaphor transcends dogma. 5.4 Sufi orthodox tensions. Legalists critique antinomian excess. Hallaj died. 922 proclaims Ana al-Haq, I am the truth, and is executed. Yet orthodox scholars like Al-Ghazal reconcile Sufism with Sharia in Ihya Ulum ad-Din, rescuing mystics from suspicion. 6. Empires of the Sword and Pen, 1258 to 1918. 6.1 Mongol Tempest and Ilkhanid Conversion. 1258. Hulagu Khan sacks Baghdad, ending a Abbasid line. Libraries burn, scholars scatter. Shockwaves test faith. Ibn Taymiyyah urges return to Quran Hadith purity. Yet within decades, Mongol rulers like Ghazan embrace Islam, building Persianate Renaissance in Tabriz. 6.23 Gunpowder Empires. Empire founding heartland hallmarks. Ottoman, Osman I, 1299. Anatolia, Balkans, Arab lands. Ecumenical millet system. Suleymaniye mosques, Janissary corps. Safavid, Shah Ismail I, 1501. Iran, imposes Twelver-Shahism, shrines at Qom, Mashhad, art of Isfahan. Mughal, Babur, 1526. Indo-Gangetic plain. Taj Mahal, Akbar's syncretic Dini Ilah, Urdu literature. 6.3 Sunni Shah geopolitics. Safavid-Ottoman rivalry entrenches sectarian borders. Tigris-Zagros frontier still mirrors today's divide. Theological polemics produce prayer call variations. Shia add Hayya ala khair al-amal, legal distinctions, and commemorations like Ashura processions in Karbala. 6.4. Science, decline narratives, and renewal. Contrary to decline cliché, late empires innovate. Taka ad-Dan builds Istanbul Observatory, 1577, rivaling Tycho Brahe. Mughal Akbar fosters translations between Sanskrit and Persian. Yet European industrial power outpaces. 1798 saw Napoleon in Egypt, jolting Muslim thinkers toward reform. 7. Reform, revival, and the colonial encounter, 18th to 20th centuries. 7.1. Purist revivals. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, 1703 to 1792, preaches strict monotheism in Najd, allies with Ibn Saud. Wahhabiyya denounces tomb veneration, later shapes Saudi kingdom. Fula jihads, West Africa. Uthman dan Fodio founds Sokoto Caliphate, 1804, reforming Hausa states. 7.2. Modernist intellectuals. Facing colonial dominance, reformers seek synthesis. Thinker locale key ideas. Jamal al-Din al-Afghan. Iran, Egypt, Ottoman. Pan-Islamic unity versus imperialism. Muhammad Abdu. Egypt, Grand Mufti, 1899. Ijtihad, independent reasoning, to align Islam with reason. Reforms Al-Azhar curriculum. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. British India. Aligarh Muslim University. Scientific tafsir reconciles Quran with modern science. 7.3. Political Islam emergent. Muslim Brotherhood, Hassan al-Banna, 1928, urges Islam as system of life. Abul A'la Maudud coins Islamic state theory. Jamaat-e-Islami forms in 1941. Post-colonial states navigate secularism versus Sharia. Turkey's Kemalist laicite. Iran's 1979 revolution under Khomeini, forging Wilayat al-Faqih, guardianship of jurist. 7.4. Diasporas and new voices. Indentured laborers carry Islam to Caribbean. Chinese Hui trek Silk Road. Ahmadiyya missionaries preach in London, 1920s, and Chicago, 1920. In America, African-descended movements, Nation of Islam, later Sunni transitions under Warith Deen Muhammad, tie faith to civil rights struggle. Malcolm X's 1964 Hajj reorients rhetoric toward global brotherhood. 8. Islam and modernity, 21st century mosaic. 8.1. Demographics and distribution. 1.9 billion Muslims, approximately 24% of humanity. Largest populations: Indonesia, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nigeria, shifting center of gravity from Arab core. 8.2. Women, scholarship, and authority. Female muftis emerge. Amina Wadud leads mixed-gender prayer, 2005, sparking debate. Sheikha Fatima al-Samarkandiya revival. Modern scholars cite medieval women transmitters of hadith, more than 8,000 documented. Courts in Morocco, 2004, reform family law, Mudawana, boosting women's rights. Saudi Arabia, 2018, lifts driving ban. 8.3. Digital fatwas and Islamic finance. Web portals, Islam QA, Seekers Guidance, deliver rulings across time zones. Blockchain zakat platforms track charity transparency. Halal fintech spurs Sukuk, Islamic bonds, markets surpassing $2 trillion. 8.4. Extremism and counter-narratives. Al-Qaeda, 1998. ISIS, 2014. Exploit grievances, yet face repudiation from mainstream scholars. Aman, message 2005. Grassroots de-radicalization and Number Not in My Name campaigns highlight interpretive struggle within Ummah. 8.5 Climate and Ethics. Muslim-majority nations endure climate hits. 2015 Istanbul Environmental Summit issues Islamic Declaration on Global Climate. Green mosques install solar panels. Ramadan campaigns cut plastic iftar waste. 8.6 Interfaith Bridge Building. Marrakesh Declaration, 2016, upholds minority rights. Document on Human Fraternity, Pope Francis and Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyib, 2019, champions peace. Grassroots programs pair synagogues, mosques for community service. 9. Epilogue, The Path of Surrender. Night again drapes the Hijaz. Pilgrims swirl around the Kaaba, draped in white, hearts throbbing with a single refrain. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. From a solitary cave cry to a planetary chorus, Islam's story is one of revelation received and submission enacted, in law, codes inked on parchment, in poetry engraved on hearts, in domes reflecting desert sunsets, and in the silent dhikr of a seeker before dawn. The Quran declares, "We made you nations and tribes so that you may know one another." Across 14 centuries, Muslims have known one another, and the world, through conquest and commerce, philosophy and physics, whirling dance and silicon chips. They have argued over authority, shed tears for Karbala, copied galaxies onto astrolabes, and recited verses that send shivers down minarets still warm from the noon sun. Yet amid diversity, 5 pillars stand: testimony, prayer, charity, fasting, pilgrimage. Like tent poles under desert stars, they hold up a vast canopy where Bedouin shepherd, Malaysian technologist, Senegalese griot, and Chicago activist can feel at home, face Mecca, and murmur the same syllables that once stilled Muhammad's trembling heart. Iqra. To submit is not to capitulate to tyranny. It is to align will with the one beyond time, to find peace, salam, in surrender, Islam. Whether heard in the measured cadence of Quranic tilawah, the boom of a Sufi drum, or the staccato of keystrokes coding an app for halal microloans, the call remains. The caravan kneels, lanterns dim. Our journey through Islam ends, but the road of submission stretches beyond the horizon, lit by the crescent of possibility.